Namaste. Welcome back to Sanskriti. We are now in Sarga 2 of Yudha Kandam in the Adhyatma Ramayanam series. In Lanka, Ravana, who felt humiliated by all that Hanuman had done there, that was difficult even for gods to do or even think of doing, summoned his ministers and said with a touch of shame, "You all have seen the deeds done by Hanuman. He entered into this impregnable city of Lanka, met Sita, who is unapproachable by anyone, and destroyed many heroic demons, including my son Aksha. He burnt the whole of Lanka, and then, overcoming all of you, he successfully crossed the ocean to return unhurt. You all are experts in diplomacy, wisdom, politics, etc. Hence, you all think over what should be done now, which course of action will be practical, prudent, and apt, which will also be in the best of my interest. Ponder over it and guide and advise me on this." Hearing Ravana's words, the Rakshasa ministers said, "O Lord, how is it that you entertain any fear about this Rama? You, who are the conqueror of all the worlds, your son Indrajit, bound up Indra himself and brought him before you. You yourself have won over Kubera and have taken away from him the airplane called Pushpaka, which you are now enjoying. You have even conquered Yama, and therefore, O Lord, there is no reason for you to fear his Kaladanda, or literally the baton of death. You have subdued Varuna by a mere Hunkara and also conquered the entire demon race. What to talk of other great Asuras? Even the great Mayasura, out of fear, has given his own daughter to you and till date remains your vassal. Hanuman was able to behave so impudently here only because we did not take him seriously. We thought that he is a mere monkey and that it was vain to show our strength and valor against such a humble creature as him. Therefore, we were a little careless. Otherwise, how dare he could ever oppose and show disdain? What that Hanuman did was only deception. If we had taken him seriously, do you imagine that he would ever gone back alive? You give us your orders. We shall make this whole earth devoid of all monkeys and humans. We shall all go together or go one by one, according to your order." Then Kumbhakarna said to the king of Rakshasas, Ravana, "What you have done at the start will itself be the cause of your destruction. Fortunately for you, the great Rama did not see you when you went to abduct Sita. O Ravana, if Rama had seen you at that time, you wouldn't have returned alive. Sri Rama is no ordinary man. He is Lord Narayana himself, eternal, imperishable, and unchanging. His famous consort Sita is the divine Lakshmi. Just as a large fish gulps down a morsel of poisoned bait, inviting its own destruction, so you have brought Janaki here for the destruction of the whole tribe of Rakshasas. No one knows what will happen in future. But, O Lord, even though what you have done is improper, I shall set things right. Do not worry." On hearing Kumbhakarna's words, Indrajit rose up and said, "O Lord, command me. I shall destroy this Rama and Lakshmana along with Sugriva and all his monkeys and come back to you." Just at that time, Vibheeshana, who was one among the chief devotees of the Lord, intelligent and best in wisdom, came there. His internal inclinations and concentration of the mind were focused on the twin feet of Sri Rama. He bowed before the enemy of gods Ravana and sat down near him. Settling down, he looked full of astonishment and bemusement at Kumbhakarna and all the other haughty Rakshasas and the lovelorn Ravana as well. But since his intellect was pure and incorrupt, he spoke to the 10-headed Ravana deliberately as follows. "O king, none of these Rakshasas, Kumbhakarna, Indrajit, Mahaparshva, Mahodara, Nikumbha, Kumbha, Atikaya, etc., can be a match to Rama in battle. O king, you have been possessed, as it were, of a spirit in the form of Sita. You cannot get rid of it in this way. The only way for that is to take her along with rich presents to Rama and return her with full honors and become happy and fearless thereafter. Before Sri Rama's piercing and potent arrows spread over Lanka and sever the heads of demons, it is prudent and advisable that you surrender Sita to Rama. Before the time the mountain-like monkeys, strong as lions and capable of fighting with teeth and claws, attack and sack the whole of Lanka, you should return Sita to Raghutama as soon as possible. Otherwise, even if you are protected by Indra or Shiva, even if you get a place of refuge in the lap of celestials or the god of death, or even if you take refuge in Patala, you will not be able to save your life from Rama. The well-meant, noble and beneficial words of advice given by Vibheeshana were unacceptable to that evil-minded Ravana, just as medicine is to a man who is doomed to die. Impelled by death, Ravana now told Vibheeshana disdainfully, "This fellow has been nourished by the food and the comforts of life bestowed by me, is staying with me, but still is inimical to me, who is his well-wisher. Without doubt, he is born as my enemy in the disguise of a friend. It does not befit me to associate with such an ungrateful and impudent person like you. It is well known that one's own close relatives often look forward to one's own destruction. If any other Rakshasa had spoken such words, I would have executed him immediately. O you wretched one, shame on you. You are most loathsome and reprehensible in the Rakshasa clan." On hearing these harsh words of Ravana, powerful Vibheeshana took his mace and, accompanied by his 4 ministers, leapt up into the sky from the assembly and, in a mood of great anger, spoke to the 10-headed Ravana, stationing himself in the sky. "May you not meet with destruction. You are my elder brother and therefore equivalent to my father. I had spoken only what was for your good, and yet you are expelling me. Kala, or the destructive time, has been born in Dasharatha's house in the form of Raghava, and Kali in the house of Janaka under the name of Sita. In order to relieve the earth of its burdens, they both have come here for your destruction. It is due to their inducement that you do not pay heed to my words of sane advice, which would be only for your benefit. Though Rama appears to be a man, he is really the Supreme Spirit who transcends Prakriti. He is present equally both outside as well as inside the creature. Though he is eternally pure, blemishless and non-dual, he appears as if divided under different names and forms, just as the one universal fire appears in different forms and sizes through different wooden pieces according to their shape and size. It is only the people who look at this phenomenon through the eye of ignorance that would consider the fire as different. Just as a clear colorless crystal appears to have different hues of color such as blue, yellow, etc. in the proximity of those colors, similarly, the Atma appears to have different forms based on different permutations and combinations of the 5 elements which form the 5 vital sheaths covering the soul respectively. Paramatma, or the Supreme Soul, is ever unbound and unlimited, but reflecting in the gunas of his own Maya, he appears in the 4 forms as Kala, time, Pradhana, chief lord, Purusha, the macrocosmic soul, and Avyakta, the one who is beyond comprehension. With Pradhana and Purusha as the cause, he, the unborn one, manifests this whole universe. The changeless being that he is, he as time effects the dissolution of the universe also. Being prayed to by Brahma, he, the embodiment of time, has assumed this form of Rama by his own Maya and has come here for your destruction. The Supreme Lord is true to his words, so how can he forgo his promise made to the gods? Therefore, it is certain that Sri Rama is going to kill you along with your sons, army, and all paraphernalia such as your vehicles, etc. O Ravana, I cannot bear to see you and the whole tribe of Rakshasas being destroyed. Therefore, I am going to seek shelter under Rama. After I go from here, you can enjoy life and its comforts for a long time in your palace. So, goaded by Ravana's reproachful words, Vibheeshana in a moment abandoned everything, his home and his possessions, and with a contented and peaceful mind, he went to Sri Rama to serve at his lotus-like feet. Moving on with the chanting now. Adhyatma Ramayane Yudha Kande Dvitiyaha Sargaha Shri Mahadeva Vacha Lankayam Ravano Drishtva Kritam Karma Hanumata Dushkaram Daivatairvapi Hriya Kinchiddavang Mukhaha Ahuya Mantrinas Sarvan Idam Vajanam Abravit Hanumata Kritam Karma Bhavadbhirdrishtameva tate Pravishya Lankam Durdharsham Drishtva Sitam Durasadam Hatva cha Rakshasan Viran Aksham Mandodari Sutam Dagdhva Lankamasheshena Langhayitva cha Sagaram Yushman Sarvan Atikramya Swasthoghat Punareva Saha Kinkartavyamitosmabhihi Yuyam Mantra Visharadaha Mantrayadhvam Prayatnena Yatkritam Mehitam Bhavet Ravanasya Vachashrutva Rakshasastamata Bhruvan Devashanka Kuto Ramatavalokajitorane Indrastu Badhva Nikshiptaha Putrena Tava Pattane Jitva Kuberamaniya Pushpakam Bhujyate Tvaya Yamojitah Kaladandad Bhayam Na Bhutava Prabho Varuno Hunkrutenaiva Jitas Sarvepi Rakshasaha Mayo Mahasuro Bhitya Kanyam Dattva Swayantava Twadvashe Vartate Dyapi Kimutanye Mahasuraha Hanumadharshanam Yattu Tadavajñakritanchanaha Vanaroyam kimasmakamasmin Paurushadarshane Ityupekshitamasmabhihi Darshanam tena kim bhavet Vayam pramattah kim tena Vanchitasmo hanumata Janimo yaditam sarve Katham jivan gamishyati Ajñapaya jagatkritsnamavanaramanusham Krutva yasyamahe sarve Pratyekam vaniyojaya Kumbhakarnastada praha Ravanam rakshaseshwaram Arabdham yatvaya karma Swatmanashaya kevalam Nadrishtosi tada bhagyatvam Ramena mahatmana Yadi pashyati ramastvam Jivannayasi Ravana Ramo namanusho devaha Sakshan narayano vyayaha Sita bhagavati lakshmi Ramapatni yashaswini Rakshasanam vinashaya Tvaya sumadhyama Vishapindamivagirya Mahamino yatha tatha Anita Janaki Paschattvaya kim va bhavishyati Yadyapyanuchitam karma Tvaya kritam ajanata Sarvam samam karishyami Swastachitto bhava prabho Kumbhakarnavacha shrutva Vakyam indrajidabravit Dehi deva mamanugnyam Hatva ramam salakshmanam Sugrivam vanaramshaiva Punargyasyami tentikam Tatra gato bhagavata pradhano Vibheeshano buddhimatam varishtaha Sri Rama padadvaya ekatanaha Pranamya devarimupopavishtah Vilokya kumbhashravanadi daityan Matta pramattan ati vismayena विलोक्य कामातुरमप्रमत्तो दशाननं प्राह विशुद्धबुद्धिः। न कुम्भकर्णेन्द्रजितौ च राजन् तथा महापार्श्वमहोदरौ तौ निकुम्भकुम्भौ च तथातिकायः स्थातुं न शक्ता युधि राघवस्य। सीताभिधानेन महाग्रहेण ग्रस्तोऽसि राजन्न च ते विमोक्षः। तामेव सत्कृत्य महाधनेन दत्त्वाभिरामाय सुखी भवत्वम्। यावन्न रामस्य शिताशिलीमुखा लङ्कामभिव्याप्य शिरांसि रक्षसां छिन्दन्ति तावद्रघुनायकस्य भोस्तां जानकीं त्वं प्रतिदातुमर्हसि। यावन्नगाभाकपयो महाबला हरीन्द्रतुल्या न कदंष्ट्रयोधिनः लङ्कां समाक्रम्य विनाशयन्ति ते तावद्रुतं देहि रघूत्तमायतां। जीवन्न रामेण विमोक्ष्यसे त्वं गुप्तः सुरेन्द्रैरपि शङ्करेण। न देवराजाङ्कगतो न मृत्योः पाताललोकानपि सम्प्रविष्टः। शुभं हितं पवित्रं च विभीषणवचः कलह प्रतिजग्राहनैवासौ म्रियमाण इवौषधम्। कालेन नोदितो दैत्यो विभीषणमथाब्रवीत् मद्दत्तभोगै पुष्टाङ्गो मत्समीपे वसन्नपि प्रतीपमाचरत्येष ममैव हितकारिणः। मित्रभावेन शत्रुर्मे जातो नास्त्यत्र संशयः। अनाद्येन कृतघ्नेन सङ्गतिर्मे न युज्यते। विनाशमभिकाङ्क्षन्ति ज्ञातीनां ज्ञातयः सदा। योऽन्यस्त्वेवं विधं ब्रूयात् वाक्यमेकं निशाचरः। हन्मि तस्मिन् क्षणे एव धिक्त्वां रक्षः कुलाधमं। रावणेनैव मुक्तः सन् परुषं स विभीषणः उत्पपात सभामध्यात् गदापाणिर्महाबलः। चतुर्भिर्मन्त्रिभिः सार्धं गगनस्थो ब्रवीद्वचः। क्रोधेन महताविष्टो रावणं दशकन्धरम्। मा विनाशमुपैहि त्वं प्रियवादिनमेव मां धिक्करोषि तथापि त्वं ज्येष्ठो भ्राता पितुः समः। कालो राघवरूपेण जातो दशरथालये। काली सीताभिधानेन जाता जनकनन्दिनी। तावुभावागतावत्र भूमेर्भारापनुत्तये। तेनैव प्रेरितस्त्वं तु न शृणोषि हितं मम। श्रीरामः प्रकृते साक्षात् परस्तात् सर्वदा स्थितः। बहिरन्तश्च भूतानां समः सर्वत्र संस्थितः। नामरूपादिभेदेन तत्तन्मय इवामलः। यथा नानाप्रकारेषु वृक्षेष्वेको महानलः तत्तदाकृतिभेदेन भिद्यते ज्ञानचक्षुषा। पञ्चकोशादिभेदेन तत्तन्मय इवा बभौ। नीलपीतादियोगेन निर्मलस्फटिको यथा। स एव नित्यमुक्तोऽपि स्वमाया गुणबिम्बितः। कालः प्रधानं पुरुषो व्यक्तं चेति चतुर्विधः। प्रधानपुरुषाभ्यां स जगत्कृत्स्नं सृजत्यजः। कालरूपेण कलनां जगतः कुरुते व्ययः। कालरूपी स भगवान् रामरूपेण मायया ब्रह्मणा प्रार्थितो देवस्त्वद्वधार्थमिहागतः तदन्यथा कथं कुर्यात् सत्यसङ्कल्प ईश्वरः हनिष्यति त्वां रामस्तु सपुत्रबलवाहनं हन्यमानं न शक्नोमि द्रष्टुं रामेण रावण त्वां राक्षसकुलं कृत्स्नं ततो गच्छामि राघवम् मयि याते सुखी भूत्वा रमस्व भवने चिरम् विभीषणो रावणवाक्यतक्षणात् विसृज्य सर्वं सपरिच्छदं गृहम् जगाम रामस्य पदारविन्दयोः सेवाभिकाङ्क्षी परिपूर्णमानसः। इति श्रीमध्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे युद्धकाण्डे 2 सर्गः।